Hello everyone, this is ICBs here and today I am talking about James Gunn's Superman massively failing at the box office for some reason. And boy, I do not like making this video because I really loved this movie. It had a really good message about hope and it was really uplifting and it inspired people to do better. But just because it's really good doesn't mean that we can't ignore its box office, and personally I love talking about box office for the movies, so here is another video about a random movie and its box office. So I have over here is an article by Fandomwire and it's saying that Superman movie might not beat the box office of Henry Cavill's version of Man of Steel. When all is said and done, Superman, which sits at $525.3 million gross via the numbers, might not surpass Man of Steel $668 million collection. So yeah, this is the box office for Man of Steel, $668 million, and so far Superman has made $525 million, which seems very low and very below expectations, at least my expectations. I was predicting that this movie may make about $700 to $8 million at the maximum, and I was even willing to go so far as to say that it might make more than $1 billion easily, because it does seem like a really good blockbuster movie that's going to appease everyone. But I'm really surprised to say that it's not really happening. Now, there are some reasons that this article gives why that might be the case, and one of them being anti-American sentiments around the world, which, yeah, like, there are definitely some of those sentiments out there, but I'm going to go through this section, but I don't think that's the case, because there are movies that do make $1 billion, but this article does make some really good points that even I was surprised by, so they might be onto something. So this article by Fandomwire is claiming that the reason why there might be box office decline for Superman movies because Superman is quintessentially an American hero, and because he represents the American nation, the anti-American sentiments are affecting this movie's box office, because this movie made $223 million so far. And then this article goes on to say that Zack Snyder's Man of Steel made $63.4 million just in China in 2013. In contrast, Superman collected $8.8 million in China via the numbers, making up for only 3.95% of its international box office. Hence, it's safe to say that China's move away from Hollywood blockbuster hurt Superman's box office potential. Again, I am taking this information with a bit of a grain of salt that there might be anti-American sentiments. Yes, there are a lot of anti-American sentiments, but to say that those affected the box office for this superhero characters movie, it's a bit of a hard pill to swallow, because what about Batman? Is Batman not an American superhero? Like Superman's cape does have American flag's colors on it, but it doesn't mean that he's a walking, talking American flag and talks about how great American nation is. I mean, the character's history has been to criticize America and for America to aspire to be a better nation. You could say that Superman is not a representation of US, it is a representation of a criticism of what US could be. I don't think that anti-American sentiments would be hurting this movie as much as this article is claiming, but yeah, the box office numbers still don't lie, and there might be more to this thing that I'm not currently seeing. Some more research is definitely needed, but yeah, let's move on to other things. Superhero fatigue has affected box office return for Marvel and DC, and this is the thing that I feel like is a lot more likely, and definitely the thing that surprised me. This article is saying that the last 6 movies that Marvel has released, and only 2 of those 6 movies has crossed the $700 million mark globally, which just speaks volumes. Six movies released by Marvels, and only two of them broke the $700 million mile. So yeah, I would definitely say that superhero fatigue might actually be a real thing, because yeah, there's no other way to explain this, because Superman is a damn good movie. Even if it's like a superhero movie, it's still a good movie, but people are not opting to watch it as much as before. Another thing that this article is claiming is that this movie is not making as much money is due to the rise of streaming in modern day cultures, but I would say no, because in 2019 and onwards, the streaming bubble increased quite a bit, and still we saw billion-dollar movies like Spider-Man No Way Home and Barbie, and so many other movies, making $1 billion. So it's a really difficult pill to swallow that Superman didn't make money because streaming. No, I just can't really believe it. So yeah, that is the disappointing performance for the Superman movie, which I really love, and I don't hope I will go on to predict that this movie is definitely going to make more money. I do think that it's making money a bit more steadily, and you know what? If I'm making up predictions here, and my predictions, I don't care about if my predictions do go wrong. I'm just going to go ahead and say that Superman movie might actually make more than Man of Steel. I'm just saying that, and it's not because I don't like Man of Steel. I really like Man of Steel, and I'm not just saying that so Snyder Bros will be mad at me. I know I don't care about them. I genuinely love Man of Steel, but again, I at the same time I really hope that this movie makes more money, because if this movie makes more money, then we will get more movies like this, because it was a genuinely good movie. And I want to see more movies like this. And this movie making more money means that I will get to see more stuff like this. And if it fails, then James Gunn might lose credibility at Warner Brothers. And from knowing the history of Warner Brothers, we can deduce that Warner Brothers are very quick to discredit a director and firing them just because one movie didn't meet their expectations, because we know, because this happened before with Zack Snyder. Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice was a movie that released, and it made about like $700 to $800 million at the box office, but I don't think it quite met the expectations of the executives at Warner Bros, and they immediately wanted to fire Zack Snyder after just one movie. I hope those guys learned their lesson, and I hope James Gunn makes more movies. He's already planned quite a lot of movies, so it's gonna be tough to remove him, because he has roots in DC as of right now, so it's gonna be hard to pluck him out. So we will definitely be seeing more stuff, but I am afraid that if he loses a bit of credibility, he's not going to be removed, but it does mean that the studio can interfere a lot more with the creative side of the movie, and they can come in and say, okay, change this or change that. So that might be a realistic thing that might happen. So yeah, those are my thoughts for now. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and as always, it's time for a goodbye.